Welcome to the show. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Tonight, Zelina Vega has been released by the WWE. Why? What is the story with Zelina? What just happened on Smackdown Survivor Series? Just over a week away. Wrestling Uncensored starts now. Now, it has begun. It is Wrestling Uncensored. What's up, everybody? What's up, Johnny? How you doing, big man?
Doing okay. Just a nice little surprise, I guess. I didn't expect Zelina Vega to suddenly get released, and I guess we'll see her in AEW in February, so that'll be fun.
Whoa. Johnny North, right off the bat, going hard. A, you're calling it a nice surprise, little surprise, and B, you're saying that she's going to be in AEW, and C, you're saying that she's going to be in AEW in February. Do you have inside information? What's going on here, Johnny? You are just guns blazing right off the bat. What's the story with Zelina? First of all, you think she's going to AEW, and why February?
Well, I think her 90-day no-compete clause ends like sometime in February, and they have pay-per-view. That's her next pay-per-view, so it would make sense. And the whole thing of her like leaving, like one of many reasons apparently, because a lot of this is just coming out right now, right? Mm-hmm. One of the reasons is because she likes to be able to do other projects, so she'll be able to do her Twitch and she'll be able to wrestle, so she gets the best of both worlds with this.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering though what the story was exactly with Zelina. Was it I want to do Twitch, WWE says get off Twitch or we'll fire you? Zelina says I'm not getting off Twitch, and they fired her? Is this like a firing, or is this Zelina saying I'm not happy here, release me? From Zelina's Twitch, I watched a little bit of her Twitch stream. She was on tonight talking, mostly just thanking people for subscribing, which we thank you for subscribing as well. But she wasn't given a lot of information. She seemed pretty sad, though. She did seem sad, so it did seem like maybe WWE fired her. Like she didn't ask for this.
Well, again, this is breaking, right? And there's a bunch of tweets out there that say a bunch of things right now, so you can't like say this is exactly what happened, but I saw some, and usually these are kind of accurate people that tweeted about this, is the fact that she tweeted something about unions and then was released pretty much soon after that.
I don't know what the correlation is there, though. Do you think she tweeted about unionization? And I could pull up the tweet here exactly to read exactly what she said. I think she just said, I'm in favor of unionization, right? This was tweeted 4 hours ago. I support unionization at Zelina_Vega WWE. And then she was released, I guess, not long after that. The news came out, but maybe she knew and then she tweeted it. Do you think that they released her because of Twitch, because of Twitter, what she posted? Like, what's your theory right now? My theory is, I don't know, man. I really don't. I'm trying to come up with a theory. I don't even have a theory right now. I'm looking at what I'm seeing from at WrestleVotes, who's always, in my opinion, the most credible source of real information in WWE. The guy just tweeted like a few days ago, sorry for the lack of tweets, but if we don't have real news or interesting tidbits to report, I'm just not putting anything out, quality over quantity, which is something I appreciate so much. You know? Let's see if I can pull that up. I think I can here. This guy WrestleVotes is really good. It's like an anonymous. Have you ever seen that, WrestleVotes?
Maybe just someone may have retweeted or something, but not usually.
So I feel like this account is the best as far as real news. And this is what the WrestleVotes tweeted. there's a bit more behind the scenes to the Zelina Vega release. Frustration from both sides is an understatement. While it can't be directly tied to today's news, Aleister Black recently requested move back to NXT and was denied. Dissension amongst the parties involved. What does that mean? Like, Aleister Black, according to WrestleVotes, and I believe this, like, there's a lot of wrestling news sources out there that you got to take with a grain of salt, but this WrestleVotes is, like, I would say 99% accurate on Twitter. It's anonymous. It's not a guy trying to make money. You know, like, there's no name behind it. Like a Dave Meltzer, you know, who reports news, but, you know, it's a subscription basis where he's trying to get you to pay money for the constant news source, so he's always got to keep producing news. And I feel like when you have this obligation to continue to produce breaking news stories and insider scoops for your subscribers, you're going to get some things wrong, or you're going to make things up every once in a while because you have this obligation to continue to put out these scoops. But this WrestleVotes is just like a Twitter who happens to have information that just puts it out. So I believe that more than... I'm not saying Dave Meltzer has bad information. I'm just using him as an example of a lot of guys that are out there putting out supposed scoops. They have this obligation to put out constant news, right? And WrestleVotes doesn't have that. So that's why I take it as more legitimate, because it's just like a guy with a Twitter account and very accurate sources. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could understand that. I find with Meltzer, it's more his insider information with AEW seems to be pretty accurate, because it seems like he's pretty tight with a lot of people there. The WWE stuff, I don't think, like, whoever his contacts are there, they're not exactly as tight, and it might be just people that kind of feed them stuff. And, you know, again, is that them just feeding it so that it gets out there, but it's not necessarily true? This WWE stuff I kind of worry about with Meltzer, but AEW, I'd actually take his word almost all the time.
I don't want to have a whole discussion on what Dave Meltzer does or doesn't do. You know, I think he's fine. I'm just saying I believe in this WrestleVotes, and if they say that Aleister Black requested his release or requested a move back to NXT and was denied, Aleister Black, if you don't know, is Zelina Vega's husband. I believe that. So there's definitely some unhappiness there with Zelina, Aleister, and the WWE. And, I mean, look at what Zelina was doing recently. I mean, the last time you saw Zelina, what was she doing? They had broken her off from being Andrade's manager. She was getting beat up by Asuka. Like, what was the last thing that Zelina did on Raw? She had some sort of deal with Andrade, right? Didn't Andrade lose to Angel Garza, and then Zelina, like, was on commentary? Is that the last time we saw her?
She got drafted to SmackDown, and I believe she had a singles match, and she was in one of those elimination matches for the Survivor Series team. And I don't believe she won. I believe that's the match where Ruby Riott won, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But
and where's
I mean, if you
Black?
look at it,
where's Aleister Black? Sorry, go ahead. If you look at it,
like, it's just one going with Zelina. Like, they push her like crazy. Like, when the pandemic started, like, she was one of the top stars. Like, she was on Raw, like, triple booked, like, weekly. So, like, she was a huge star for a long period of time. To lose her just out of nowhere like this is huge. This is big.
Yeah.
I get it, like, and I've said it before, like, she's not the best wrestler, but regardless of that, they were still pushing her like crazy. And with Aleister Black, as of right now, he has not been released, regardless of, like, reports of him might not being happy and, like, want to go to NXT and getting denied. As of right now, he still hasn't been released, and we still don't know what's going on with Aleister Black. However, pretty much since he lost to Kevin, I think on SmackDown maybe 3 weeks ago now, we haven't seen him at all. So take that for what it's worth.
So Zelina is gone. She's done with WWE. Doesn't seem like Aleister Black is very happy. And you're right, it was the Zelina show. Zelina and her guys, right? Zelina, Andrade, and Angel Garza for so long on Raw. All that stuff with Drew McIntyre. You know, there was a lot of them on TV. A lot of Zelina Vega. They invested a lot of TV time in her, and now, gone. I don't think that they had much hope for her as far as being a wrestler. They didn't seem to want to invest much in her. I mean, they didn't even put her on the Survivor Series team. You would think, drafted to SmackDown, you want to do something. You want to give her a bit of a refresh. They had her wrestle Asuka, right? Didn't she wrestle Asuka on pay-per-view?
She did. And then they had the rematch, too. Like, they actually kind of pushed her as a wrestler. Like, regardless that she wasn't that great, they had her beat Mickie James pretty much clean.
Yeah.
Like, they were actually trying, with her. But I'm guessing maybe there were problems here.
I mean, they were trying.
That kind of just killed everything.
They were trying to a certain degree, right? I mean, they broke her off from Andrade and Garza. There was a lot of, momentum there because she had been a prominent figure. They have her win a match, get a title shot against Asuka that no one expected her to win. She doesn't win. She doesn't look great in the match. Then she gets moved over to SmackDown, and what do they do with her? Nothing. Right? She had that triple threat match like you're talking about, and she loses in that match. I think she probably took the fall, too. So at that point, the writing's on the wall. It's like, well, I just got drafted. I'm not even going to make the Survivor Series team. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are ahead of me on SmackDown right now. You can understand why she might want her release. I'm not sure if this was a case of her asking for her release, though. People are saying, I see Bob Cote on the chat. I see Lorne Cronish on the chat. I see Paul M. But Bob Cote saying WWE released Zelina Vega as a warning to everyone else to get off those third-party social media networks. Was she a sacrificial lamb? Was she a warning? Get off Twitch or else. Get off OnlyFans or else. Apparently she has an OnlyFans as well. But it is not what you might think from an OnlyFans account, from what I understand from the internet. That's what the internet has told me. Because generally, OnlyFans account is a little bit spicy, a little bit adult. But apparently she's not putting out adult content on her OnlyFans. A lot of people are doing non-adult OnlyFans these days. It's part of the pandemic business plan. Johnny North, I'm waiting for your OnlyFans. Just waiting.
I believe you said you were going to do one, but...
Yeah, mine was going to be adult, though. Mine was going to be like, I'm going all the way. I'm trying to make some real money.
I can't imagine WWE would ever allow that, even though they're not allowing OnlyFans period at all now. But even before that, I doubt they would have allowed any adult-themed kind of content on the internet. But that's not what Zelina's doing. That's what I'm doing, John. WWE doesn't have any... Okay. They don't have any say over what I'm doing on the internet. Well, that's good. You're not stuck in a contract. Yeah, they can't control you.
That's right. I refuse to sign contracts.
You should sign a contract. It's worth the money.
Well, we'll see. Somebody's got to offer me the right contract, Big Johnny. I haven't seen the deal that I've wanted to sign. So, Zelina Vega, gone from WWE. She's a talent. She's wrestled. You're not too fond of her in the ring. I think she's solid. I think she's good. I don't think she's like a bad wrestler. Is she the best wrestler I've ever seen? Certainly not. But, she's passable, And in AEW, she'd be a big star, I think. They don't have a lot of Zelina Vegas who have the look, who have the talking ability, and who have the wrestling ability. Like, Zelina is a lot better and a lot more of a rare commodity than the WWE really gave her credit for. You think about the talking ability, like how many of their female talent can cut a promo like Zelina Vega?
It's really hard to say. I mean, Sasha, maybe at most. That's about it. Bailey. That's it.
And even then, like, are they as good as Zelina on the mic?
They've had their moments. I mean, it depends. I mean, Zelina, too, like, she did way too many promos sometimes, some weeks. Like, her coming out 3 times a show, like, was a little too much. Like, I mean, she's good, but, like, it got annoying a little bit as well.
But she's got the ability to talk. You know, she can talk.
Yeah,
she's got a good
definitely.
look. She can wrestle. She's talented. And she's going to take her talents elsewhere. Maybe that's AEW. Maybe that's Impact Wrestling. I know she used to wrestle in Impact, right?
Yeah, like a very long time. I don't even know if it really even lasted that long, but
Couple
yeah, sure.
years.
I mean,
she was
okay.
Rosita in TNA, and she was the tag team champion, the Knockouts tag team champion with Sarita, who is Sarah Stock, who's a WWE trainer.
I think
yeah,
former, if not mistaken.
Former trainer, yeah. I don't know if she's still there.
Did she get arrested recently?
Did she? Sarah Stock?
I heard like a former coach got arrested recently in WWE, and I feel like it was her. I could be mistaken. It's fun to find all this stuff, huh? All the great shenanigans that go on in wrestling.
She was arrested at some point in October. Former WWE producer arrested on aggravated battery and disorderly conduct and public intoxication by alcohol and resisting law enforcement. Nice. I mean, that's just some good old brother. That's a brother charge right there, right? You got to chalk it up to the game. What are you going to do?
I mean,
that's part of wrestling.
The 80s, it's
if you don't have a aggravated battery, disorderly conduct, public intoxication, and resisting law enforcement charge, are you really in the professional wrestling business? I don't know.
Usually, yeah, that was kind of the status quo for a lot of them. Yeah, kind of needed that almost. Yeah,
no problem with Sarah Stock, and I got no problem with Rosita, a.k.a. Zelina Vega. I think she's talented. She's been around the world wrestling. She's been in Impact. She's been in Ring of Honor. She's been in the WWE. I think AEW would make sense. I hope Aleister Black gets to join her in AEW if she does go there. Otherwise, Aleister Black will probably get put through the announce table by Nia Jax for, I don't know, every single week forever. That seems to be what happens.
It's just ridiculous. It's really stupid. Like, I get the whole torturing thing, but you're destroying the whole idea of a table and the credibility of a table. Like, it's just stupid now.
Don't say torturing. You know what's happening tonight, right? We're missing it, John. It's happening right now, and we're missing it. Talking Shop Mania 2, Rise of the Cock Torturer. That's happening tonight. The first one. You did? I didn't even see it. I just heard about it.
Oh, I saw it, and it's okay. I don't need to see the second one.
Was it good? It wasn't good? You didn't like it?
I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, when they say it's the worst pay-per-view you've ever seen, they're definitely right about that. No question.
So you're not going to order Talking Shop Mania 2? I didn't, obviously.
I paid $40 for Bound for Glory. I'm not paying more for more garbage.
You actually ordered Bound for Glory. My God, didn't Eric Young main event that shit? What the hell are you doing?
The main event was actually the best match. It was very good. Eric Young versus Swan, very good match.
Yeah, but I'm not paying for a wrestling card with Eric Young as the main event. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. It is.
Oh, you should have seen the rest of the card. The rest of the card was much worse.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Did Katie Forbes wrestle?
No, RVD's gone from Impact. So,
he is? Yeah, that's good. He's better off. We should talk about SmackDown. We're going to talk about AEW. I mostly want to talk about Bobby Lashley and Titus O'Neil from Raw, though. For some reason, I know there's a lot going on.
Bad.
I know.
It's terrible.
I know.
Why are we talking about this?
I don't know, because it was so weird. It was so weird. What happened? We got to talk about it off the bat. All right, we got to go there. Okay. We talked about Zelina. I'm done with Zelina. She's gone. It's sad. I'm not sure what happened. I think probably.
She's crying on her Twitch. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, she's crying. I think she got fired. I don't think she wanted to. I think she kept her Twitch and she figured it'd be all right. And WWE's like, "You're fired. You can't have Twitch. What the hell do you think you're doing? We don't do that shit here."
Well,
the hell is Twitch?
Think about it. this was her dream. She wanted to be a wrestler. This is what she aspired to be, like pretty much most of her life. And then she lost it because I mean, she still wanted to do Twitch as well. So I'm sure she's torn apart about this.
Yep. Yeah, it's too bad, But that's what the WWE is doing to their roster. Whether you like it or not, that's how the WWE is treating their talent right now. They told them no more Twitch, no more outside things. You can't have a YouTube channel. You can't have any of these things.
No third
and
parties.
No third party things happening. No, done. And most of them seemed like they fell in line.
Well, yeah, the money. Like, you're not gonna throw that all away.
No,
most of them, anyways.
But if they fire Zelina Vega, I wonder, does AJ Styles still have a Twitch stream?
No, I think he closed it down.
He did.
He understands. He gets it.
So they all did it.
So they all.
Was Zelina couldn't be the only one who kept it, right? I mean, Paige is keeping hers, right? Paige is still, she's fighting hard, but she's not wrestling anymore. But she's still under contract.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with that too. She seems very emotional about it as well. So they might eventually have to release her as well, just to say hey, no exceptions to the rule.
Because she's tweeting support for Zelina Vega and. It's strange. It's really strange. I wonder if they're all shutting them down. I mean, Up, Down, Down hasn't shut down, right?
Yeah, but that's owned by WWE though as well, right?
Is it fully owned by WWE?
They got a stake in it, so they'll keep that going.
Huh. Strange times in WWE. Very strange. And this is not going to help morale with the company, This is not going to make WWE roster members feel better. This is not going to make the fans like the WWE more. Why are they such a heel company? Why does the company have to heel out? It's not only that they're heels on TV, but the McMahons are heels in real life to their fans and their roster. And it seems like they do it on purpose. I don't understand why they have to be the heel company. Everything they try to do good just seems fake, and then they do so many bad things. They treat their people so poorly. You look at the other wrestling company in AEW and how they're trying to treat people, and you're not hearing these terrible stories or letting people have their freedom, and people seem happy in AEW. You hear people interviewed about wrestling in AEW, they all seem quite happy. People in WWE seem miserable. Why do they do that? Why does it have to be miserable? And it's not like the schedule's miserable right now. It's pretty easy. They're not on the road. They're working 1, maybe 2 days a week on a pay-per-view day if you happen to be lucky enough to be booked. It's not a grueling schedule, yet the people that work for the company still seem miserable. And you look at their TV product, and a lot of them, it's a miserable show, and a lot of them don't seem like they're happy to be there. They seem like they're going through the motions. Look at the show tonight. Smackdown tonight was awful.
I don't disagree with SmackDown not being good this week. Again, Raw was the better show of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of that mind frame that they're miserable, a lot of them drink that Kool-Aid, man. You heard what Alexa Bliss said this week about respecting the policies of WWE. They all believe in that stuff.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss was towing that company line, right? What did Alexa Bliss say exactly? What was her?
Just pretty much, they're the standard, and they set the bar, and what they say goes. It's their business. They make wrestling. They are wrestling, pretty much,
Alexa Bliss said, WWE takes care of us 100%. We are all in
There
a
you go.
contract, and anything that happens inside the ring, WWE takes care of. Our health is 100% a priority. Our health and safety is 100% a priority in the company.
Well, a lot of people question that in AEW, so there you go.
Even when I was injured, I had concussions, and Vince said, all right, well, we're going to send you to the best specialists there are, and he did. I saw a concussion specialist, and they went above and beyond to take care of me, and I know everyone feels that way. Everyone feels that way. CM Punk didn't feel that way when he left the company.
No, I probably didn't.
It was a while ago. It was a while ago, though.
Yeah, that's it. Things change, right?
Sure. They're probably better treated now than they ever have been. Does that mean that they're treated fairly? I don't know. Alexa Bliss is happy with her treatment. Fair? Well, yeah, I don't know.
That's it. I mean, they think it's fair. Again, they're getting the money, so that's fair to them.
Mm-hmm. But again, Alexa Bliss always has something. Alexa Bliss is, with the Fiend. She's got a big story. They always take care of Alexa Bliss.
When was the last time she wrestled?
Who cares? She's on TV constantly in a major angle. And always is. Like, most of her WWE career has been pretty sweet. She's won a lot. She's been on TV a lot. She's been booked very strong for most of her run. So, of course, she's happy.
Well, yeah, of course. She's one of the chosen ones, in a sense.
Yeah. But some of these other talents that aren't chosen, maybe not so happy. Like, I don't take Alexa's on her way. I don't take Alexa's word as, what it really is.
I don't know if Zelina was definitely getting there. Like, if she wasn't there, she was definitely getting there. The way they were pushing her this year, one of the best pushes of anyone this year, in my opinion.
If she was really getting there and they were really going to do something with her, she would have won that triple threat and would have made the Survivor Series team.
Oh, you can't win everything. And, her wrestling ability, I mean, let's face it. I mean, you can admit this too. Like, her talking ability way exceeds her wrestling ability. And it just wasn't there yet.
Have you seen Ruby Riott?
They'll take Ruby Riott over Zelina.
Why?
No doubt.
Why?
I think, one, Ruby has more experience wrestling. And they actually like her wrestling.
Does she? Zelina's been wrestling all over the world for a very long time, since she was 17. She's been wrestling for, over 12 years. She started wrestling at 17. Ruby Riott has not been wrestling as long as Zelina Vega. And Zelina's better than Ruby Riott in every way. I'm not trying to put Ruby Riott down here, but Zelina is much better.
If you look at WWE, who's wrestled longer, who's had more matches, I mean, Ruby far out exceeds Zelina what she's done. I mean, Zelina, for the most part, has just been a manager.
Okay. I would rather watch her. But we won't get that option anymore. Look, it's okay. Like Ruby Riott, Zelina Vega, I'm not going to, say this is a tragedy and this is the worst thing that we've ever seen. I'm just saying I think Zelina could have been used a little bit better. It's disappointing that she's not in WWE anymore. And for Alexa Bliss to come out and say, well, everything's fine in WWE and everything's great. It's like, yeah, well, you and Roman Reigns, I'm sure, are super happy. But there are some other people that, is Aleister Black thrilled with what's going on in WWE? Is Lana happy? Was Miro happy? I mean, they told that guy that Rusev Day, they were just making fun of him. That's what Vince McMahon told Miro, right? He's like, no, right. This Rusev Day thing, it's not real. They're making fun of you. They don't mean it. The fans meant it. Vince just didn't get it. When you get over and you're not supposed to get over, You get buried. And that's what they did to Miro. That's not good. That's not a good working environment. When you succeed, when the fans embrace you, and what does the company do? They punish you for it. It's not good.
Well, FTR too. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I mean, some people can thrive in that WWE atmosphere. Some people, it just doesn't work because WWE, as much as they were or kind of are a wrestling company, they're almost against wrestling in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they're not a wrestling company anymore. They're
Sports entertainment.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing. It's hard to enjoy. I enjoy AEW, but WWE these days, it's just like, get on with the show. Once in a while, there'll be something. What did I see on Raw that was good? There was a match on Raw where I was like, damn, this is kick-ass.
Mustafa Ali against Ricochet.
Thank you. Tremendous.
Yeah.
Everything else was pretty forgettable. SmackDown, I didn't see a single match that was worth watching. Seth and Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins in the no DQ match was all right. Did not like how it ended. The big Mysterio family hug-a-thon, that was weak. So Rey has his wife, his daughter, and his son ringside for the no DQ match with Seth Rollins. Seth has Murphy by his side. Of course, Murphy is dating Rey's daughter, Aaliyah, but last week sided with Seth, making you believe that he's with Seth, but of course he's not with Seth because he attacked Seth in the match, helping Rey get the win. Rey shook Murphy's hand finally after the match. Dominic shook his hand as well. Aaliyah hugged Murphy. Murphy was hugging Aaliyah, had his paws all over Rey's daughter in the ring. The mother hugged Murphy as well. The match was good. This was the match that I've been waiting for what feels like all year between Seth and Rey. Like they finally had a good match between Seth and Rey. This feud has been about Seth and Rey the whole time, but for some reason we had to see Dominic wrestle Seth at SummerSlam. And when Seth and Rey did actually wrestle, it was a stupid eye for an eye match where the whole point of the match was to poke the other man's eye out, so they couldn't really have a good match. They were too busy trying to just push the other guy's head into the ring steps. That match was awful. This match, the no DQ match, was quite good. Best match on SmackDown, at least, right?
It was definitely the best match on SmackDown. Was it quite good? I don't know, because they hyped this as the final chapter, and you can say what you want. Maybe we aren't going to see Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins 1-on-1 anymore, but this is definitely not over. They pretty much said this is going to continue. Now Murphy's going to wrestle Rollins next week.
Yeah.
So that pretty much means the Mysterio family will be around. So this isn't over yet. Just because Mysterio and Rollins aren't going to wrestle each other anymore doesn't mean this feud dies.
But now it's like everybody against Seth.
For now. I mean, there's going to be more twists and turns to this, sadly. I wish this would end, but this is the problem by putting them all on the same show. Like, you had a draft. You could have ended this quickly before, but no. You just dragged it out. I mean, this has pretty much been going on for almost a year, and I expect it to go into next year.
Nah, I think Seth is going to get beat at some point and then go away. Becky Lynch is having his baby. And he's going to go and be with the baby when it's born. And the baby should be here pretty soon. Right? Becky left. Didn't we say it was like December, January she'd probably be? Becky's got to be.
End of December.
Yeah. End of December. We're like, mid-November here, John. At some point, I think Seth is going to go away. I don't know how long he's going to go away for, but at least a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, I'd say, minimum. I think we see Seth Rollins get beat by the whole Mysterio family and then get sent off for a while. And then maybe come back as a babyface to take on Roman Reigns or something, I think Seth goes away for at least a month. At least a month, and it's going to be soon. Because Becky is going to have that baby very soon.
Well, he's confirmed for the next 2 weeks for sure because he's got that match with Murphy next week, and then he's already confirmed for the Survivor Series team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm saying, but at some point in December, he's going to go away. I think. So.
I hope so. I really want this to end, but it doesn't feel like it's going to end right away.
It'll end by the end of the year. It'll be over, John. Just another couple of months of this stuff, and it should be over. Finally, where do they go with Murphy and Aaliyah? Does Aaliyah just become Murphy's manager for a while? Like, what is this now? How do they proceed?
I don't know. It's hard because I've seen photos posted online of her real boyfriend, so it's hard to believe in this. Not that you'd believe in this in the first place, anyways. But when you see that stuff, and it's hard to get into the story, and then just where we've gotten to so far, it's been really atrocious. Like, I kind of just want them to kill this off. Like, why does Ray have to come down with his family all the time? Like, whoever wanted to ever do that, to me, that seems ridiculous. You're going into a fight and you bring your family to ringside. That just seems like the worst idea ever.
Yeah. And his kids did not seem overly concerned when he was getting his ass kicked either. It's not great.
Seemed kind of bored.
Yeah. Aaliyah looked like she was laughing at one point. It was strange. Not good. Not a good episode of SmackDown. The main event was Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso. So not only do we have to sit through Drew McIntyre wrestling on Raw, this motherfucker's on SmackDown too?
Started the show.
I know. Pissed me off right off the bat. I was like, no, not this guy. Roman comes out, blah, blah, blah. I'm Roman Reigns. I'm going to wrestle Randy at Survivor Series. And then Drew comes out and he's like, whoa, 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 wait a second. I'm going to wrestle Randy on Raw for the title, and I'm going to beat him, and then I'm going to wrestle you at Survivor Series. And Roman's like, all right, maybe. Whatever. And then Jey Uso shows up and is like, are you disrespecting me? Stop disrespecting me. I'm going to wrestle you. And then Roman's like, all right, whatever. And then after, Roman's really mad at Jey Uso for some reason because that's his gimmick now. Jey Uso does something, and Roman Reigns gets mad at him. No matter what Jey Uso does, it's not good enough for Roman because Roman's a heel and he has to be mean to his cousin on TV, so you know that he's a heel. So last week, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens made some offhand remark about Roman and Jey Uso, and Roman's like, you got to wrestle Kevin Owens now. Kevin Owens disrespected us. You have to wrestle him, Jey Uso. And Jey Uso's like, oh, okay. And now this week, Drew McIntyre comes, confronts Roman Reigns. Jey Uso's like, well, I know what I'm going to do. I'm supposed to challenge him to a match, right, Roman? And Roman's like, wrong, you idiot. You're not supposed to do that. I make the decisions around here. And it's like, ugh.
Yeah, but I get it. Makes sense.
Ugh. Thank you.
Hey, your dad followed us. That's nice.
Oh, followed us on Facebook. I'm wondering why he wasn't following us before, but shout out. What was that with the Roman? Can Jay not satisfy Roman ever? What? It's just dumb. Nope. Just when Roman was yelling at him, I was just like, yeah, okay. Get it over with. It's so dumb. Keep moving.
Well, my main complaint was, you just spend the last 2 weeks building up Jey Uso as this main event guy, could beat Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, and then you just killed it right away with a guy from another show to beat him. It's like, well, what was the point of that? No one on SmackDown can beat Jey Uso, but someone from Raw can? I didn't understand that. And why do that right before the pay-per-view? You're building him up, and you put him down right before the pay-per-view. I don't get that.
Yep. Drew McIntyre beats him, but Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan both get beat by Jey Uso. Why?
I get it. Drew's super strong. He can beat a lot of people, but you just kind of destroyed what you're doing with Jey Uso. Not completely, but
no.
It's hard to again, you're building him up for something, and then right before the pay-per-view, he loses a match. It's it's hard to believe that Jay is a top guy if he starts losing now.
Will Drew beat Randy and take the title on Raw? I'm thinking he might, because historically,
right? Yeah, he could.
before Survivor Series, they do these title changes a lot, right? Remember when it was supposed to be when AJ Styles was champion, Daniel Bryan beat him like the SmackDown right before Survivor Series to wrestle the champion versus champion match against Brock Lesnar. Remember that one? And then there was another time where it changed hands like right before Survivor Series on TV. I forget who.
It was AJ and Jinder Mahal.
Yes, AJ beat Jinder, right? It was going to be Jinder and
Brock.
But instead it was AJ Brock. Much better. Now we have Randy and Roman set up, but Drew McIntyre was just on SmackDown facing off with Roman. It feels like they were setting up Drew versus Roman. And I feel like Drew's going to take the title from Randy on Raw. And yeah, that's the move, I think, at this point.
It very well could happen because I could see Randy, they're just kind of trying to build up his title wins now, where he loses to Drew. Like, we thought this was going to happen earlier when they were actually feuding pay-per-view after pay-per-view, where you just keep flipping the title back and forth. I guess they're just going to keep flipping the title back and forth in between pay-per-views now, which is fine too, I guess. But, I mean, it's just going to drag it out longer. You're going to get more of this. But, yeah, I could see Drew winning and then maybe losing it in TLC, but he doesn't actually get pinned in TLC.
You think he loses it in TLC to what? Randy? Back to Randy?
Got to be the 15-time champion.
No. I don't know if Drew loses it, or if Drew regains it, does he really lose it back to Randy? I think if Drew wins it, he's going to go on, beat Randy and then move on to something else.
I feel like we're going to get a three-way of like Drew versus Randy versus The Fiend. It feels like no matter what happens, that's going to happen the next pay-per-view.
TLC, maybe. Is that TLC?
Makes sense.
Yeah, December. I think Drew's going to take the title on Monday. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, it definitely seems, again, because of history, right? And history usually does repeat itself. It has the last 2 years, so why not? I don't see New Day losing, and they seem to be hyping that up a lot, that New Day would lose, so I don't think they'll lose, though. I think you're going to keep that match, New Day versus Street Profits.
Yeah. I think, you look at how Drew McIntyre is booked. He's booked a lot stronger and a lot in a more convincing position to become champion than Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Like, those guys against Street Profits at Survivor Series? Why? New Day and Street Profits is a big match, because as Big E said, these guys are just New Day light. They're the wannabe New Day. So I think New Day, the original, versus the wannabes would be a good match at Survivor Series, something that you would only see on a pay-per-view like Survivor Series. Kind of makes the pay-per-view more special because it's something you'd only see there. So I do think it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre at Survivor Series and not Randy versus Roman. And Randy will probably not be booked at Survivor Series. That's my guess.
The only thing, though, they've been hyping this kind of thing like on Raw where like Sheamus keeps talking to Drew about being on Team Raw. Like I could see someone maybe on Team Raw gets booted off for Drew perhaps. But that would require the WWE title match to be early in the show. Yeah.
Now, the Sheamus and Drew McIntyre thing where they keep talking to each other and they're all friends, it makes me wonder, like, maybe they won't. Oh, thank you, Peter, for following on Facebook. It makes me wonder, like, maybe Drew and Sheamus are just going to be a tag team. Maybe they're not putting the title back on Drew. Maybe they're done with Drew in the main event, and maybe Drew and Sheamus are just becoming a tag team now. Thank you, Ricky, for following on Facebook.
People are discovering Facebook, it looks like.
Drew Sheamus tag team?
Now, don't you?
Stop getting distracted by the followers. Get it together.
It's distracting. Hey. We're getting more of this.
Khabib. I don't know. People are just following. Thank you, Khabib. Not the Khabib, but different Khabib.
As a team, though, right? You said Drew and Sheamus. When they made up those like fake facts about them doing bro kicks and claymores, where they came from, like Drew wasn't doing claymores back then.
No.
That looks. But whatever. I mean, it's cool that they're friends, and if them as a team, that might be something. But them against New Day, though, not really into seeing that.
Thank you, Thar.
Wow, Facebook's a thing now. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like jumping off right now. I don't know what's happening.
No, it's okay. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah, keep it coming. Thank you for following. Keep following us on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Subscribe. Oh my God, it's an explosion.
Wow, I can't even see the name on that one.
I don't know. I can't see those names. But they're coming in fast and furious. The channel is jumping. If you want to support the channel, go to donate.ringsidereport.net. You can also hit us up on Super Chat. Hit us up on that Super Chat if you have any questions or comments, anything you want us to talk about here on the show. Can't read that one. I don't read that language. I don't know. I don't know the letters. But thank you for subscribing in Arabic. We love you. We love you big time. Hey, another one. I don't know those letters either. Thank you. Thank you.
People from all over the world subscribe.
All over the world are watching us and paying attention to what we are talking about in professional wrestling. So, yeah, Drew maybe becomes champion. Thank you, Toon. Drew maybe becomes champion on Monday, but maybe he just becomes a tag team champion with Sheamus down the road. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they're going. I'm interested in what happens on Monday. I don't know. I feel like Drew's going to become champion, though. That is my best guess, that Drew will become champion. Thank you, Love King. But I'm not sure.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's it. Now I'm interested for Raw much more than SmackDown. Like, Raw, I'm hooked actually to watch almost every week now because, like, Raw can be boring and there can be some crummy parts to Raw, as we saw this past week. But there's also a lot of good, though. They have a good mix of, like, good workers on that show that help make the show good.
Yeah, but it's also bad. It's a good show, but it's also a bad show. We're gonna talk about Raw in a second here. I just want to stick to what happened tonight on SmackDown that we just saw. Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews. The match was, okay, not very long. I like the finish, though, getting Apollo Crews stuck in the little ropes under the ring. Thank you. And then Sami getting the win by countout, sticking Apollo Crews there, getting him stuck. I like that style victory. It was good. Good win for Sami.
The finish was good, but that was it. Like, was there anything else to that match? It's like a 2-minute match. I thought that was very disappointing, actually. I was kind of pissed because it's like, these are two good wrestlers, and that was like nothing of a wrestling match.
Yeah. It wasn't much. They did a little bit, but they really didn't, get a lot of time. I think that was the problem. There was just not a ton of time for them to wrestle. They just weren't given that amount. They had an interesting finish, but that was pretty much it. I was more surprised to see Apollo Crews and Sami Zayn actually wrestling a match on TV. Like, when's the last time you saw Apollo Crews? I forgot he was on SmackDown.
Does that say KO? That. That's awesome. If it's Kevin Owens is a Facebook follower.
It is, John. Cool. Just move on. They're going to keep coming. We can't just, the show's just going to be like, hey, here's another one.
Thank you.
We can't just thank everybody. We thank you all for following on Facebook and subscribing, but like, you're distracting Johnny North a little bit. We're trying to talk about
if AJ was here, this would be the end of the show right here.
Yeah, the show would be over. If AJ was here, it'd be done. Yeah. I was just surprised to see Sami and Apollo on TV. I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know these guys were still wrestling on SmackDown. Well, I knew Sami was, but Apollo, I was like, really? Where's Apollo been?
It's kind of disappointing for Apollo because, like, that's his first appearance since being drafted, and that was it. That was very disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Otis wrestled Dolph Ziggler. He beat him. Otis beat Ziggler tonight.
I think that was just to say, like, Otis is still there. He's going through a tough time because, he lost everything pretty much. But he's still something. And now he's going through a new thing with Chad Gable. So we'll see what happens with that. That feels like Drew Gulak, Daniel Bryan all over again. So, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, Gable inviting Otis to join his Alpha Academy. So it's kind of a rebrand for Chad Gable. He's not Shorty G. He's kind of like a Kurt Angle type motivational speaker guy, coach, wrestling coach, trying to get Otis in shape or something. I don't know. Otis seemed down with the program, though, so I guess Gable and Otis are going to be a thing now. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Gable seemed kind of like evil at the end, so I don't know if he's actually helping Otis or just like going to be mean to him, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Gable seemed kind of like he did a mean face at the end. So, like, is he legitimately trying to coach Otis, or is he going to be mean to Otis and treat him poorly and use him in some way? I don't know, and I barely care. Liv Morgan cashed her ticket to Survivor Series. She's on the SmackDown women's team, beating Tamina. There's Tamina. She showed up. We knew she was going to show up at some point because the roster of women on SmackDown is so very thin. Natalya was there, losing again. She seems to be in every one of these qualifying matches and loses every time. And Chelsea Green up from NXT, making her debut on SmackDown tonight. And Johnny North, you were not impressed with Chelsea Green's debut on the main roster, losing in a fatal four-way qualifying match to Survivor Series to Liv Morgan. At least Chelsea didn't take the fall, though. Tamina was the one, of course, to take the 1-2-3 from the Livster.
Well, how can you take the fall when you're barely in the match? Like, I felt like she was in there for like 30 seconds at most. Like, I don't know about you. It felt like she just appeared at the end. Like, what happened to her?
I don't know. It was hard to pay attention to this match. It was just like, this is pointless.
People hype Chelsea Green like she's the next big thing in NXT, and then for that to happen, that was just awful. That was, in my opinion, one of the worst debuts ever. And I understand, like, she's been in NXT, so it's not really her debut, but, I mean, on the main roster, horrible. Like, from NXT to the main roster, that was the worst debut. And they gave her a thing right before, like the promo right before, like it happened, and then for that to happen, like,
yeah,
what was that?
It was not a great main roster debut. Although I was listening to the New Days podcast with Sami Zayn recently, and he was just making fun of Xavier Woods' WWE main roster debut, which the way he describes it and the way that I remember it, it was worse, actually. I don't know if you remember Xavier Woods' WWE.
He slipped or something?
No, he was just like, he walked to the ring with R-Truth and wasn't even like mentioned. And Truth started cutting a promo and like barely mentioned that Xavier Woods was even there. He was just a guy with Truth. And then he became Truth's like partner, which is funny because that's exactly the same way he debuted in Impact Wrestling as Consequences Creed, as just R-Truth's friend. I wonder why they put those two guys together.
I still think the Chelsea Green thing was much worse, actually. Because,
maybe.
What did she even hit any offensive moves whatsoever? Maybe a forearm here or there. That was it.
Yeah, she didn't do much. I guess she got brought up to the main roster to be Jabroni. I guess they figured, oh, she's dating Zack Ryder. Let's just book her like Zack Ryder.
Yeah, but you had people like Charlotte saying, like, oh, she's like the up-and-coming star, like, when she comes up, like, she's going to be big. And then for that to happen, you get endorsements, and they don't capitalize on that. I don't get it. Why would you do that? Why would you give them the promo before?
Well, what just happened?
For whatever reason.
What just happened? Our production team is testing things right now, and we just disappeared. Thank you, Rogel? I don't know. There's a lot of people following us on Facebook tonight. I am loving it. I'm loving all the support. Look at all these people. Thank you.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's constant. What's happening? We're popping off on Facebook, baby. Gashe. Thank you, Gashe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. A lot of names I can't pronounce, too. I'm loving all these names that I can't pronounce. I've been told that these are all real Facebook followers that are hitting us up, so thank you, everybody. Franco316 says it's Friday the 13th today. That's true. That is true. It is Friday the 13th. By God. Should we be worried?
Not really. I enjoyed those movies, so it's fine.
I've never seen any of them.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I'm not a horror movie
series.
guy. I'm not really into that. Big E was on SmackDown just talking to the Street Profits. I guess that's all he does. He is not on the Survivor Series team yet.
So far.
So Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins all qualified. For some reason, they didn't have a men's qualifying match tonight on SmackDown. Big E has to be the 5th member of the team, right?
You would hope so. It feels like it could be a bunch of people, right? I mean, it could be Dominic. It could be Murphy. You laugh, but like, man, they were pushing Dominic first like crazy, right? Like, remember when he was wrestling on Raw pretty much every week? Like, I wouldn't
ridiculous.
Be surprised.
I mean, Raw has a legitimate team. They would look stupid putting Dominic on that team. Like, Raw has AJ Styles as the captain, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Matt Riddle, who just qualified this week. Like, that is a legit kick-ass Survivor Series team that could go up against any of the top Survivor Series teams in the history of Survivor Series, right? Like, if you look at that roster, man, look at that team. AJ Styles, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Keith Lee, a goddamn beast of a man. Sheamus, a monster, a legend of the business at this point, future Hall of Famer. Braun Strowman, monster. And Matt Riddle, legit badass, new hot superstar. I mean, this guy, this is a team. You know, Raw has a kick-ass Survivor Series team. And SmackDown has a decent Survivor Series team. They have Kevin Owens, very good. Jey Uso, yeah, one half of the Usos. King Corbin, yeah, he retired Kurt Angle at WrestleMania a couple years ago. Yeah, that did happen. And Seth Rollins, who's, you know, the Messiah, who's Christ-like, who's a legend of the game at this point, future Hall of Famer. Big star in the business, for sure. That's a decent team. Raw has a better team. SmackDown needs another superstar. They need a Big E, you know, member of the New Day, future Hall of Famer. Big E. Not Dominic Mysterio. They could get Rey Mysterio. King of the 619. Booyaka, booyaka. Rey Mysterio. Yeah. Not Dominic Mysterio. Imagine Dominic Mysterio having to wrestle Braun Strowman. Like, that's ridiculous. No. Putting my foot down here, John. They need a legitimate member for their team on SmackDown because they're going up against one of the greatest Survivor Series teams ever assembled from Raw. Look at that team. My God.
It's a good team, even though they don't get along. And they all say that AJ Styles is not their captain. Though I do like AJ as the captain or trying to be the captain. I enjoy the whole spat they have. And I thought that tag match they had on Raw was really good because of AJ.
Why was AJ the referee? What happened there? How did he manage to not wrestle in that match? AJ just keeps doing these team meetings, team captain things. He had a promo with Keith Lee and Riddle and Sheamus and Strowman. Riddle already wrestled. He beat Jeff Hardy and Elias in a triple threat to qualify for Survivor Series. And then AJ Styles makes a tag team match where Riddle and Keith Lee wind up beating Sheamus and Strowman. Riddle getting the win again, rolling up Sheamus after Sheamus and Strowman couldn't get along and Sheamus kicked Strowman off the apron, causing a distraction. Riddle gets the win. AJ's the ref. I mean, I love it. He's very sneaky, but I didn't quite understand why. Like, how dumb are the other guys to not realize, like, AJ just keeps putting us in matches. He's not wrestling. He's calling himself the captain. None of us agree that he's the captain, yet he's behaving like the captain would, and we are all falling in line. Have you noticed that? Like, they're all dumb on this team. Like Braun and Sheamus and Keith Lee, and now Riddle. They're all just like pawns in AJ Styles' game. He's playing them easily. Playing them like a fiddle, baby. Easy. You know, it's like
Right.
they don't come off very intelligent, but, you know, that's WWE logic for you.
Well, I think they can all agree, though, that they have to get along, right? That's the whole thing. And
Do they?
AJ,
They don't agree. AJ's the only one who agrees that they have to get along. They all seem like they have problems with each other. Riddle seems to be like he wants to get along with everybody. Sheamus doesn't want to get along with anybody. You know? No. Keith Lee seems like he's not sure he wants to get along with anybody. Strowman doesn't want to get along with anybody. AJ Styles is trying to bring them all together. And Riddle now seems like a calming influence on the team. I think he's good. But it's strange. I mean, I like the team, but it's strange the way it's being portrayed on TV. Yeah, SmackDown tonight, not a great show. Not much happened. Really not much happened. Like, what's the news coming out of SmackDown? Liv Morgan qualifies for Survivor Series. That's the biggest thing that happened on SmackDown tonight. And Murphy officially got acceptance in the Mysterio family. Those are the two things that happened. Sasha cut a promo. Carmella attacked her. Big deal. She did that last week. Sami Zayn beat Apollo Crews by countout. Big deal. Drew McIntyre wrestled Jey Uso. Like, nothing happened on SmackDown tonight. No news to come out of the show. Just a bunch of nothing segments and Liv Morgan qualifying. Zelina Vega really rules the day as far as news because SmackDown didn't do shit.
Well, it made you believe that Drew McIntyre might win the WWE Championship on Monday. So, in that sense, it did a good job.
I guess so. But I believe that might happen on Monday when they book the match. I didn't need SmackDown to convince me. I didn't need to see more Drew McIntyre in the ring. Really didn't. I never need to see that, to be honest.
I found the confrontation between Roman and Drew helped sell the potential title change this Monday. I think if you don't have that, it's hard to believe that Drew would win because I would think more towards that tag team with Sheamus.
Yeah, maybe, but I also see Drew going up in a title match the week before Survivor Series, and I always think, Survivor Series time, they might do a title change on TV. But that's because we follow this, very closely for so many years. We just kind of pay attention to these things. Super chat. Whoa. You got a super chat there, Derek John. Thank you, Derek. He says, other than Roman, SmackDown will lose all their matches at Survivor Series.
Well, I mean, think about it. They've actually set the Raw teams, right? So we've actually got storylines with the Raw teams. SmackDown, they barely even put the teams together. So, yeah, Raw should win.
Raw should win.
I don't know about the title matches. I mean, the champions, I feel like that could go to Raw and SmackDown, a bunch of those.
Team Raw, the men's team, should definitely beat Team SmackDown men's team. Team Raw, the women's team, should also beat Team SmackDown, the women's team. Team SmackDown only has 3 members currently. Team Raw has been set from the start. Nia Jax, Shayna, Mandy, Dana, and Lana. Team SmackDown has Bianca, Ruby Riott, and now Liv Morgan. 2 more members will be added at some point, I guess next week, because that's the last Friday they have before the pay-per-view, right? So, Lacey Evans and Bayley?
Not Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans is on Raw.
Oh, Natty and Bayley?
Well, I would like Natty because Natty seems to always never win, right? So that'd be cool for her to be in there, but it's tough to say at this point because it feels like she's again going to lose another match. It feels like it seems that's going to be her thing, is that she can't get on the team. Maybe if there's an injury, they'll put her on the team kind of thing. I feel like that's happened in the past too, where Natty kind of just snuck her way onto a team at the last minute.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get that, but yeah, Bayley for sure. I mean, they kind of need Bayley, SmackDown.
Yeah, Bayley would be a good addition to the team. So if not Natty, then who? Bayley and?
Yeah, I guess Carmella makes sense, no? I mean, they've had her around attacking Sasha, but she isn't wrestling on the pay-per-view, so
Yeah.
have her wrestle.
Okay. Okay.
It's tough on
Bobby,
SmackDown.
I don't know. Like Derek said, SmackDown's gonna win all the matches. Or no, wait, he said Raw was gonna win all the matches. SmackDown will lose all their matches. Yeah, I mean, Sami Zayn against Bobby Lashley. I could see Sami pulling it out, though. Sami, the Intercontinental Champion from SmackDown. Bobby, the Raw U.S. Champion. I could see Sami doing some sort of count-out sneaky victory, just like he did to Apollo, to win. I don't know if Sami loses clean to Bobby. I can see Sami winning. And I can see Sasha beating Asuka as well. I could see that happening.
Yeah, but that's a win for SmackDown if that happens.
Yeah, well, Derek is saying that SmackDown's going to lose all their matches.
Yeah, well, if Sasha wins, then
other than Roman, right? He says other than Roman, Sasha will lose all her matches at, or SmackDown rather will lose all their matches at Survivor Series. So he's saying Roman's going to win, but SmackDown's going to lose the rest. So he thinks that Asuka's going to beat Sasha. He thinks Bobby will beat Sami. He thinks, New Day beats Street Profits. He thinks Team Raw, Men's.
Oh, no, you're right. He thinks New Day would win. And
my God, it's not that complicated. He thinks SmackDown's going to lose, John.
But
Except
I don't know
for the
about that
Roman
one.
match.
I really think Street Profits are going to take that, actually. That's a tough one.
Yeah, they shouldn't. The New Day should really beat those guys. New Day are the best tag team in the world.
Right, but I mean, you want to put over the new team, though, don't you? That seems to be New Day's thing. They always put over the new team.
No, cement yourselves right now as the greatest tag team going. Cement yourselves. Look, they're on Raw. They don't have Big E. Go on a run where you're just this tag team that's unstoppable, where you can be a major main event act again as tag team champions. Just have this ridiculous run where you're super entertaining. Like, I watch Raw. Not many people are entertaining. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are consistently good. Everything they do is good. They're the best tag team going today. They're the best thing on Raw most weeks. And the only reason to watch that 6-man match on Raw this week that main evented was because Kofi and Woods were in it. Kofi and Woods were great in that match. John Morrison was really good in that match. Miz, Drew, and Randy were also there.
Oh, it really centered around Drew and Randy, especially in the end.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything. Randy didn't tag into the match. He didn't wrestle. I mean, all the wrestling was done by Kofi, Woods, and John Morrison. A little bit of Drew. Miz did a couple things. Mm-hmm. Morrison looked really good. Morrison's a solid wrestler. Kofi looked great. Woods looked great. Super entertaining. They were funny and athletic. New Day is the best. New Day rocks.
Well, and that's it. I mean, they're considered the best tag team in WWE. They don't need to win at Survivor Series. I feel Street Profits kind of need to win. They need to rub more.
Street Profits have been tag team champions for over a year. They've won enough. You might be right. They might win, but I don't want them to. I want Kofi and Woods to win everything because they deserve it. They're the best. Roman wouldn't lose to the Street Profits. Kofi and Woods shouldn't have to lose to the Street Profits. They are the Roman Reigns of the tag team division.
Well, I'll say this, though. I mean, if it's Roman versus Drew, it's a much harder match to call on that one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Drew loses that easily. That's tough.
I'd say Roman wins, though. Roman's got to win. Roman wins everything. Show up and win.
It's tough, though, because if you look back at their history, I mean, I know Drew's talked about throwing Roman over the top rope, but in their single matches, Roman's dominated Drew.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Drew wins this one.
Well, Drew was Roman's comeback match when Roman came back from leukemia. He worked Drew at Mania, and he beat him.
And the rematch, if I think it was in Saudi Arabia, he also
Yeah.
beat him there too.
Yeah, I think he'd beat him again at Survivor Series if it happens. I'd actually rather see Randy and Roman, but I feel like it's going to be Drew and Roman, especially after SmackDown tonight. Okay, can we talk about Bobby Lashley and Titus O'Neil? What the hell was that? Titus shows up. MVP and Bobby are talking in the ring. Titus shows up, wants a U.S. title shot. For some reason, they give it to him. Titus, starts punching Lashley. They seem like some pretty good shots. Lashley looks like he tries to fight out of the corner. Titus just keeps punching him. Lashley tries to fight out of the corner again. Titus keeps punching him. Lashley eventually hits the rope, does a spear on Titus, drops him with the spear, and then goes to apply the full Nelson. Titus is fighting it like it's a shoot full Nelson, and Bobby is struggling to put it on him. Eventually, he can't close his hands. He's got him around, but he can't grip. He just has him here. He never grips. He never closes it. And I'm like, what's the struggle? Is Titus going to flip him? What's going on? And then the bell rang. And they're like, oh, Titus gave up. I didn't see Titus give up. I didn't even see Titus get the move fully applied on him. What the fuck was that? Of all the things on Raw, that was the most puzzling for me. I was like, what happened there? What is going on?
And to add one thing too, I felt Titus was in the ropes there. So
yeah,
albeit Bobby never really put the hold on, that should have been a clean break. But whatever. I mean, technically in a sense, he never put a hold on him really, but there should have been a clean break, I thought. But again, I think something really got messed up there. I don't know what exactly, but it seemed like something was really messed up in terms of what they were supposed to do.
It was odd. It was very odd. I really don't know what is going on. I'm seeing
maybe they were trying to sell
it
like a shoot. Maybe they're trying to sell it like it was a shoot, and that's why he was actually struggling. But in that sense, it's hurting the actual art of what you're doing instead of making it look better.
It felt like a Raw Underground match because Titus was in street clothes, and the way they were wrestling was Raw Underground, wasn't it? And the way the match finished as well, with just oh yeah, it's over. He's tapping. It's well, is he? An abrupt finish. It was Raw Underground in the ring. It was really weird.
Well, this is the benefit though of Raw Underground. They can edit the footage and they can make sure the shots actually look good. Where it's live and they can't really control that, so it unfortunately showed. It just kind of looked very scrappy and it didn't look professional, actually.
No, it did not look professional. It was odd. I thought Titus was actually going to join the Hurt Business there for a second, but it didn't happen. Derek John says Carmella will cost Sasha the match against Asuka.
Maybe, yeah, sure.
He also thinks Sami Zayn might beat Bobby Lashley. Mako 8033 says Sami will be punished for his COVID decision. I don't know about that. He's getting a pretty good spot, and he's still Intercontinental Champion. He won the IC title after coming back, so I don't know about that.
Roman wasn't.
Who? Roman wasn't. Well, Sami hasn't really been punished either for staying away during the COVID times, right? He's come back. He's had a good spot. He's been the co-host of Talking Smack, the post-show on SmackDown. That's actually better than SmackDown. I don't know if you've ever seen the new Talking Smack, but Sami is excellent on it. And he's still Intercontinental Champion. He beat Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles after coming back, right? So I don't think Sami's been punished. I think Sami has done much better than I expected him to do when he did return. I thought he would be punished. He has not been.
I think WWE realizes there's a lot they could do with Sami as a character. and they're, I think, making the full usage of him as that. Just it
Mhm.
seems as a wrestler though, they're kind of like hiding him wrestling. I don't know if it's still because he's still hurt, but it seems like they're really limiting what he can do wrestling. That's why I'm not sure about that Bobby Lashley match. I feel like he might just run away
Hmm.
because like he doesn't really do much wrestling whatsoever. So I don't know if they're hiding it, but they limit him as much as possible. It seems.
Maybe they've decided he's just such a good talker. They want to limit the wrestling so that he can talk more and they can extend his career. I don't know. But Sammy is a great talker. And the stuff, have you seen any of his stuff on the Talking Smack show? It's been really good.
Only snippets that they show on YouTube.
Okay. It's a good show. I like it. I really do. It's better than SmackDown. So elsewhere on Raw, nothing really happened. Right?
Oh well, Mandy Rose looked like she separated her shoulder. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
Oh yeah, she's definitely
she?
like I wouldn't be surprised she's off Team Raw. Like,
Really?
That looked really bad.
I didn't notice.
Like it's when Naya threw her out of the ring.
Okay.
And if you noticed,
Naya
Mandy,
threw her
like,
out of the ring?
Yeah, because like I believe it was right after the DQ, right? Because Shayna interfered in the match.
Yeah, so it was Asuka versus Naya, which the match was all right up until it ended. I liked the match. I thought Asuka and Naya had a decent little match. Asuka bumped Shayna and Lana off the ring apron, and then Shayna came in and attacked Asuka, causing a disqualification. So Asuka beating Naya there. And then Mandy and Dana were ringside, and they all brawled after the match. Asuka wasn't involved in the brawl. And they took out Mandy and Dana. So you're saying when Mandy and Dana got tossed out, Mandy got hurt? I did not notice.
Because Mandy, when she went to grab the rope to hold her from making sure she didn't fall terribly outside, she grabbed like with her left instead of her right, and it looked like she almost like tore her arm off, falling out of the ring, and you could tell like she was like clutching her arm. And when they threw Lana through the table, you could see the referee helping Mandy to the back. So I wouldn't be surprised they do some sort of angle where Mandy is like out of the Survivor Series match, because it doesn't seem like she's going to be 100%. And I know some people blamed Nia Jax for what happened, but I feel like that's not really her fault for that. Maybe she threw her too hard on the outside, but I feel like you also got to, kind of understand where you are and anticipate the fact that, hey, this is happening and I have to adjust. And Mandy, it seemed like, was awkward because for whatever reason, she was barefoot. I don't know if you noticed that.
Mm-hmm. I'm seeing it right now. I'm watching it in slow motion right now. And yeah, Naya does not do anything wrong here. She's throwing Mandy through the second rope to take a bump outside the ring. It's so basic. I mean, maybe she's throwing her with a lot of force, but like Mandy should be able to take that. If you're a professional wrestler, you can't blame Nia Jax for doing that to you. Nia Jax didn't do that to her. Mandy did that to herself. That's a freak accident if Mandy's actually even hurt. There's no word on the extent of her injury other than it looks like she hurt her shoulder or her elbow. So her left arm has some sort of injury, but we don't know if she's really hurt. And I don't think Nia did anything wrong. I'm looking at it right now. I don't think Nia did anything wrong. No, and I would blame Nia if I thought that she was to blame. Like when she punched Becky Lynch in the face and broke her nose. That was her fault. She's done a lot of things, for sure. But this.
Well, why was Mandy barefoot? Like, what happened there? Like, I don't get that.
Because she was in heels.
Oh, okay. That makes a bit more sense.
Yeah, she was in heels. And I saw her on the bump. It looked, actually, I thought she got hurt when Lana and Shayna got bumped off the apron and fell into Mandy and Dana.
Okay.
Now, Mandy, when she fell over, like, the fall looked rough on her ankles because she was in some pretty high heels, and, like, to bump backwards in those shoes, like, it didn't look like it went well. I'm not surprised she took off those shoes if she was going to do more wrestling. I'm not really sure what she was doing in those shoes in a wrestling capacity to begin with.
Well, if you see Dana has like boots like that, but I guess it's not so bad because they're like made so that she can wrestle like that. But yeah, actual heels, not so great.
Yeah.
And also with that promo they cut, by the way, on Lana, like they're horrible faces. I don't know if you caught that, but
Yeah.
they're
Why are they so
terrible.
mean to Lana? Lana's like trying to be
Like,
friends, and Mandy and Dana are like, nah, screw you, Lana.
I don't feel it was supposed to come off that way. I feel they were supposed to be more like, yeah, we're gonna help you out, but you still did kind of screw us over. Like we feel bad about that. But they came off like as complete jerks, actually. Like
Yeah.
they didn't sell that whatsoever well because like they're kind of just dead in the face, like emotionless almost the way they cut their promos, and it just seems like they don't care about her whatsoever, and that yeah, like they hate her actually.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird. They didn't seem very nice. I'm not really sure if they're baby faces now. Lana did get put through the table after Naya took out Mandy and Dana. Naya and Shayna put Lana through the announce table once again. And it's like, what, 10 weeks in a row now?
8.
All right. And then next, it was one of my favorite segments of the show. You might be surprised, but I love R-Truth. What are you going to do? The guy's hilarious. And we had a fatal 7-way for the 24/7 title. It was R-Truth, Tozawa, Grand Metalik, Lince Dorado, Drew Gulak, Eric of the Viking Raiders, and Tucky. And Tozawa won the title, and then Eric, and then Gulak, and then Tucky. They just kept, beating each other in the match, and then whoever won was 24/7 champion, right?
I think Tucky won twice, and so did Drew Gulak. No, I'm
Tucky
mistaken,
won, then Gulak won, then Tucky won, right? They rolled. So Eric won, and then Gulak took it from him. Then Tucky took it, then Gulak, then Tucky, then Grand Metalik, then Lince Dorado, and then R-Truth hitting the move, the attitude adjustment that he saw growing up watching his childhood hero, John Cena. Even though I think John Cena probably was a kid watching R-Truth in WWE as K-Quick. Truth hits the attitude adjustment on Dorado to win back his belt and then runs away. I mean, of the things on Raw, this was stupid, but less offensive than most of the things that they do. Which says something about Raw.
Well, this reminded me of like the old 24/7 hardcore title thing where the title keeps switching hands so many times, but by the end, Crash would still be the champion. I felt like this was exactly like this, just no weapons. So, if you can take it for what that title is and to expect that you'll see stuff like that happen, I was okay with that.
Yeah.
Like I actually prefer it more like this actually because it was in the ring for once.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. And then the next match was match of the night, match of the week. Mustafa Ali getting the win over Ricochet via chokeout with the Koji clutch. Ricochet went to sleep. Rico doing a crazy spinning dive on all of Retribution. He had Ali down in the ring. After an incredible match, he had him down. He was going to go to the top rope and hit his finisher on Ali, but he thought, no, if I go to the top rope, they're going to attack me. I'm going to get beat up. So I'm going to take Retribution out and then go for Ali. So he does this ridiculous spinning move on Retribution, takes them all out, and then goes in to get Ali, but he misses his dive on Ali. Ali applies the Koji clutch to choke out Ricochet. Ricochet refuses to tap, and Mustafa gets the advantage. Retribution helps him, not in the way that they normally do with interference, but just by being there and distracting Ricochet. I like the story that was told, and the match itself was incredible. There was one thing where Ricochet did this like he had Ali, and then he rolled through, and then he flipped up, and then he brainbusted him. Like, they did so much good shit in this match.
Deadlift,
Yeah, like, my God. The athleticism from both men, tremendous wrestlers, tremendous talent. Ricochet is not allowed to be what he really is in WWE, and on Raw, he was allowed to be who he is, wrestling Mustafa Ali, and same for Ali. These guys are not given the amount of time on TV that they deserve, and on Raw, it was like, yep, this is a match, and this is going to be, a real match, and we're going to give it time, and it kicked ass. So thank you, WWE, for doing one thing right this week. That's giving Mustafa and Ricochet enough time to kick ass on Raw. That match was great. Great.
Well, I think you saw two of the best workers right now in wrestling right there working. I know a lot of people don't think Mustafa Ali's that great, but he just hasn't had the opportunity to show how great he really is, because I think he's one of the best. And he just needs a good dancing partner sometimes, and he needs more exposure. Retribution, I think a lot of people look at it as like, it's a failed experiment already, but as long as you look at it as the sense that it's a team that it's not a main event squad pretty much, but it's still a force. So if you look at it like that, low, high, mid card, it's decent for what it is. It'll help Mustafa Ali get to another level in wrestling for sure.
They're just backup for Mustafa Ali, though, is the problem with Retribution. They're faceless. They all have stupid names. Mustafa Ali, he's the only guy that's in Retribution who hasn't changed his name, gimmick, or look. I mean, his gimmick, I guess, but his name is the same. He looks the same. He didn't put a mask on. They all have masks. They have dumb names like Slapjack and Cue Ball. It's like, it's not good, and it makes them just look like jabronis for Mustafa Ali. And you can't really build a group like that because nobody else in the group is elevated, and you don't want to see anybody else in the group wrestle ever because you don't know who they are, you don't care about them, and you know that they're just jabronis. So, until you put a mask on Mustafa Ali and make him really part of the group and give him some sort of name like, Butt Chunk or whatever, it's not going to work, Take the masks off Retribution, give them the real names back, maybe. I don't know, but it's not going to work as a group. They're not going to get over as a group in their current state. It's too weird. And especially with Ali as their leader, like, he's nothing like them. Why is he their leader? He's the smallest one. He shows his face. He has a real name. It's just bizarre. It doesn't fit.
Well, it's really just to help get him over, which I think it's going to do in the end. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really help the others as much, unfortunately.
No.
And it won't be the most powerful faction. I mean, they started off as like the biggest thing in wrestling, and now they're just kind of there.
Yep. It's too bad. It's too bad because there's some talented people in the group. They're just not going to be allowed to show their talent, which is a common theme in the WWE. Not a common theme in AEW. We're going to get to AEW in a minute here, but I want to talk about The Undertaker. Undertaker will make his final farewell. It'll be 30 years since the debut. 1990 Survivor Series was when the dead man made his debut in the WWF, and he will be back at Survivor Series 30 years later this year. They made it official. And they even put out a nice little Survivor Series poster with the dead man's face on it. I could show you the poster here, Johnny. I don't know if you've seen this yet. Oh, is that not working?
Probably, but you can show it to me if you can show it. I have no problem seeing it again.
No, I don't
Undertaker's a cool guy.
I don't think it's working right now. I don't think we have that. I think we have a technical glitch.
Well, it's okay. I've probably seen it. And it's pretty much just a picture of The Undertaker.
Yeah, that's not it.
That's not it.
No.
But
yeah, it's a picture of The Undertaker. He's on the Survivor Series poster. What is the final farewell? What does he do? Does he just go to the ring, do the face, and then, like, fire? Is that it? Or does he chokeslam somebody? Like, whoa. Is he the fifth member of Team SmackDown? say yes.
Oh, I wish. Apparently, they're gonna bring in a bunch of like his friends. I mean, Kane's already apparently scheduled to appear. Savio Vega, The Godfather. So that'll be fun. I think they're just gonna have a bunch of like his friends probably around ringside, and then he's gonna come out, do his entrance, pose. I think that's gonna be pretty much it.
So his friends will be there, and that's it?
Yeah, I think so. And maybe a graphic or something, you know, maybe they'll play like a cool montage and that's it. I know you're
Great.
expecting some great thing to happen, but I don't think so at this point. I mean, do you really want to
Yeah.
see him wrestle? Unless it's a movie match, I don't think that should happen.
I mean, if he's a Survivor Series team member, he doesn't have to do much. Hit a couple choke slams, tombstone AJ Styles, and go home.
Right. That'd be nice, but I feel like at this point they kind of just want to not have him wrestle that much because I mean they say he's retired, right? So for him to come back, it needs to be a really special kind of moment, and him being like the last member on Team SmackDown, it's not that special.
He started his career winning a Survivor Series match. Why not end it winning a Survivor Series match?
I don't feel like, well, I mean, I think his team won. I feel like he got like a double count out actually. So, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
You're right.
doesn't really matter. Like,
He eliminated Dusty Rhodes from that match by just throwing him out of the ring. I don't quite understand how that worked. You remember that?
Well, Dusty at that point, like he was pretty much on his way out of WWE anyways. I think he already wanted to go back to WCW. So they were destroying Dusty, unfortunately.
So, Undertaker, they're doing all these documentaries about Undertaker on the network. Have you seen any of these?
I've only heard about it. I didn't see any of them.
Okay. So they have one where it's like the first time I met Undertaker, which is actually pretty good. I like that one. For Bray Wyatt, it's like, I don't really know. I was a kid. I feel like I met him a million times. And there's just like a picture of like Bray Wyatt as like a small child with Undertaker. He told a good story about him and his brother Bo Dallas. And I forget exactly the details, but Undertaker like scared Bo Dallas, and Bo Dallas got scared, so he kicked Undertaker in the shin and ran away as like a child, you know, because their father was IRS. And then like, 10 or 15 years later, they're at a show and Undertaker goes up to them, and they're still kind of young. They're not wrestlers in WWE yet. Undertaker goes up to them and he's like, which one of you kicked me in the shin? Like scaring them. It's good. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
It's a fun story. It's like Undertaker's kind of known that guy his whole life. It's funny to see like the young picture of Bray Wyatt with like Undertaker. But there was one, I think it was a Paul Bearer documentary that they put out where they completely changed history, and it was really weird the way they did it. They were talking about Hogan, the way that Taker beat Hogan for the title at Survivor Series. Was it Survivor Series? When was it? 91?
It was Survivor Series.
Survivor Series 91, right? So a year after his debut, he beats Hogan for the title. Now, in the documentary, they have Taker hitting Hogan with a tombstone in the middle of the ring, and then they cut.
On the chair.
No. They have him hitting Hogan with a tombstone in the middle of the ring, and then they cut, and Taker's pinning Hogan near, like, on the side of the ring near the apron. 1, 2, 3, and he's the new champion. And they're like, nobody beat Hogan back then, especially like that. And it's like, I don't know why they changed history in that documentary, but they made it seem like Taker beat Hogan clean, middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3 with a tombstone, which is not what happened. Ric Flair slid the chair in so that Taker could tombstone Hogan on the chair, and that's how he won, with the referee distracted by, I think, Paul Bearer, right?
Yeah, it sounds about right. And then Hogan complained, and that's another story.
Yeah, so It's just classic WWE changing their history. Like, yeah, Taker beat him clean, middle of the ring. That's how he won his first title. That's not how it happened. I don't know why in the documentary they had to make it seem like that's what happened. Why do they change history like that? When you could go on the network and watch the match and be like, yeah, that's not how it went down. It's weird.
Yeah. It's odd that they would do something like that, but that was the story they wanted to tell. So
yeah,
that's what they do.
Taker, he was the one. He beat Hogan clean in 1991. Remember that? Go watch it. It's not how it went down. Steel chair, Ric Flair.
I mean, it was awesome.
Why change it?
Taker won. Well, they're just trying to make Taker cooler than he actually was, in a sense. Like the fact that he could do what no one else could do.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of sucks.
I would prefer in their documentaries if they just stuck with real history instead of trying to change it and make things bigger than they really were. But whatever. Taker will be at Survivor Series. I think that's cool. I love The Undertaker. How can you not poke fun at the Taker and all that? But he's great. He's a legend. You got to love Undertaker. Good to see him 30 years later at Survivor Series. Not everybody can stay active 30 years in the wrestling business like Le Champion Chris Jericho. Some guys have to retire, Le Champion, still doing it. He'll go to Las Vegas with MJF and the boys on Dynamite this week. Are they really going to go to Vegas? Well, what is that segment going to be? Are you excited?
Not so much. I mean, it's just going to be a parody of those movies, right?
Oh, is that what they're doing? Oh,
yeah,
great.
I'm pretty sure. They'll get Mike Tyson, too, I'm sure, even for a cameo. Like, why not?
Yeah, he's got a fight to promote. Why not? Jeez. All right, we'll talk about AEW in a second. I just want to shout out our friends over at Manscaped. You got to Manscape yourself. You see this ball? Clean. That's how you want your balls, except not all bumpy, because that would be bad. Right? So you want them clean, you want them smooth, and they will be, not bumpy. No bumps, no burns, no scratches, no nicks with Manscaped and the Lawnmower 3.0 now available in Canada. Go get that for yourself. It's fantastic. I have it. Johnny has it. They've got so many great products over at Manscaped. They've got the Weed Whacker nose hair and ear hair trimmer. That is a top product right there over at Manscaped. They've got so many great things. You want your balls to be smelling good. You want everybody that goes near your balls to be happy, right? You don't want people near your balls dissatisfied because they won't be going near your balls again. And I think that if people are going near your balls, chances are you might want them near your balls again, right? Right. Very rarely is anybody near my balls where I'm like, stay away from my balls, Exposed balls? You understand. So you want to keep those people happy, and Manscaped will do that. And if you use the promo code RINGSIDE20, you'll get 20% off your order plus free shipping. 20% off your order and free shipping. Use that promo code RINGSIDE20. Christmas is just around the corner. Get yourself some Christmas gifts right now, or get some gifts for some people in your life over at manscaped.com. Use that promo code RINGSIDE20. Ladies, if you want to give a helpful hint to your man, or men, if you want to give a helpful hint to your man, or non-gender specific, do you want to give a help to someone who has testicles in your life? Manscaped.com. Use that promo code RINGSIDE20. Because as you know, Johnny North, not only men have balls. It's 2020. Get with the program. Manscaped.com. It's called Manscaped, but everybody can use it. All members of the family, as long as you have testicles. And even if you don't have testicles, you know what? You can use these products as well. Manscaped.com. Use that promo code RINGSIDE20. It's testicle specific, but we all know that testicles are not gender specific. That's the word from Ringside Report and Manscaped. Help the Ringside Report Network out. Ringside20, promo code, 20% off your order plus free shipping. You like that, John? You're looking at me all crazy like, oh, people near my balls? What are you talking about? I mean, if people are near your balls, chances are you want to keep them happy. You know what I mean?
It's not so much that. I mean, I find it's also good for armpit hair as well.
There you go. The whole body. The whole body. And And everybody has armpit hair. Men, women, some children, armpit hair. You want to get rid of that shit? Manscaped, baby. Okay? You like how he said balls are not gender specific? It's true. It's true, John. It's a new era. When I talk about testicles, not only men have testicles. Some people may not agree with that, but that's how I feel.
Well, in AEW, I think they have that, don't they?
Exactly. See, we are an all-inclusive professional wrestling show. When we're talking about your balls, we're talking about balls of any gender. Some women have balls. All right? Gotta love it. Shaquille O'Neal has some big-ass cojones, baby. Shaquille O'Neal is big. He's a big man. He used to play basketball in the NBA. He's won some NBA championships. He played with Kobe Bryant. He played with Dwayne Wade. He's Shaq Diesel. And apparently he's coming to AEW Wrestling. Cody Rhodes was in the ring cutting a promo congratulating Darby Allin for becoming the new TNT champion. Cody says he doesn't want a rematch with Darby right now. He'll leave Darby and the TNT title alone for now. He wants a rematch with MJF. Wants revenge on MJF. So that may happen. But then all these other things started happening. Then everything went to hell, John. You are right. A very jacked lady named Jade Cargill appears behind Cody and says that she is the total package. And I'm like, you do look like a female Lex Luger. I will give you that. Jade says yes. Cody called himself the Giant Killer, but he doesn't know anything about giants. And she knows a giant. And then she walked away. And I was like, are we going to find out later? And then she's like, oh, by the way, that giant's name is Shaq. And I'm like, Shaq O'Neal? Like the basketball player? And then Brandy came out and got really mad at Jade Cargill and cut a real angry promo. And then Brian Cage hit the ring for some reason. Powerbombs Cody. Ricky Stark shows up. Darby Allin saves Cody. Darby's wearing some makeshift thumbtack jacket. And that helps him take Ricky Starks and Brian Cage out. And they're gone. They're leaving. And then Will Hobbs shows up. I guess he was supposed to be there to help Darby and Cody, but he showed up late. Will Hobbs was there for some reason. What the fuck was that? I was like, okay, Cody wants MJF. Cool. We could have been done there. If we would have cut it off there, we would have been better off. And then Jade Cargill showed up. What kind of wrestling name is Jade Cargill?
This is when it got interesting. I'm not saying it got good interesting. Well, it was interesting. So, I mean, maybe it was good because, like, I watched this segment multiple times because I'm like, what the heck did I just see?
Yeah.
So, there's that. I don't know if it's a good thing, but I watched it multiple times.
You did? Why?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm like, what did I just see? What was she talking about? Because at first, I'm like, was she sleeping with Cody?
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
or she was coming on to him. She looked like she was coming on to him.
But I think she was messing up her promo because I think she was trying to remember her promo. Like, I think this is the first time she's probably ever done something like this, right, on national television. And she had a lot to remember. And I think she was supposed to imply that, oh, I've heard, Cody, that you're small down there kind of thing. But the way she said it was like, I know, like, because of experience that you're small down there. And it's like, so it's like, whoa. And then Brandy came out. So then I'm like, oh, is like this because like she's hitting on your man kind of thing? Or no, you're just mad. That's it.
She's mad that she was being mean to Cody. She's like, you can't be mean to Cody. Only I get to be mean to Cody. It was weird.
And whoever doing the censoring was 7 seconds off the 7 seconds he was supposed to be on. Because like they kept bleeping out the wrong words.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But
yeah, that wasn't good. One of the Rhodes brothers was in a terrible segment. The other Rhodes brother was in the match of the night. By God, what a match. The Bunkhouse Brawl, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall beating the Butcher and the Blade. Bloody, brutal, violent, awesome, kick-ass match. My God, Dustin Rhodes, like, how must he be feeling today? Like, that was rough. The guy's been around forever. He was in WCW. And he's still going and going hard. Like, that match was awesome. Shit.
I didn't expect that whatsoever. Like, I thought it was just going to be a normal brawl kind of match, but it got violent, and it got violent very quickly and very intense as well. Like, there was a lot of blood. I did not expect that whatsoever. And, like, if you told me, like, oh, it's QT Marshall and Dustin against the Butch and the Blade, I'd be like, that's not going to be much of anything. But this, like, was, wow. Like, really the best, like, I think I've seen for both teams, and I actually wouldn't mind seeing it again.
Yeah, I agree with you. I felt the same way. When they announced this, I was like, okay. Like, we knew that this was happening last week, and we were like, yeah, whatever. And then they had the match. I was like, holy shit. It was a real bunkhouse brawl, And goddamn, everybody was bleeding in that thing. Was everybody bleeding? The Blade was bleeding. Dustin was bleeding. QT was bleeding. Was the Butcher bleeding too?
I'm not sure.
I mean, even the Bunny went through a table.
We missed it, but yes.
What do you mean?
Like, you didn't really see a good angle of it. Like, you saw her like, oh, she went through a table, but you didn't see a great shot of it. But, I mean, the effort was there. The intensity was there, too. It was really a good fight. Enjoyable. Yeah. Highly enjoyable.
I really liked it. I thought it was match of the night. I feel like Dynamite started off really well. Brian Cage and Matt Sydal had a great match. Brian Cage with the win after a big move. Badass match. Great stuff there. Matt Sydal, like, why isn't he on Dynamite more often? If they have him every week, why put him on Dark? I didn't understand the rollout of Matt Sydal. Like, he comes out, he's like a mystery guy in a battle royal. He doesn't win the battle royal, and then they just kind of disappear him from TV. They have him here and there, but the amount of talent that guy possesses, I would think that they would use him a little bit more, but they did on Dynamite this week, which was nice, but he loses to Brian Cage. Very good match, though, man. Very good. More Matt Sydal, please.
Well, it just goes to show you there's limited spots, so it's hard to crack Dynamite because there's a lot of guys trying to get on those spots, and it's tough to use Matt Sydal because that was a great match, great back and forth match, but Sydal did not win, and I don't think he's won a match yet on Dynamite. So I think that's the hard part, is like they don't want to completely job him out, but they pretty much have so far.
Has he had more than this match on Dynamite?
I feel like there was another match, and I feel like he lost that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's won matches on Dark, but, for the people that watch Dark, that's about it. Most people haven't seen him win a match yet. And most people just remember that he screwed up his shooting star at the pay-per-view. So, it's a tough start for him so far.
I don't watch Dark because, why? I don't really need to. But the second hour of Dynamite felt like an episode of Dark. I don't need to watch Shawn Spears wrestle Scorpio Sky, and I certainly don't need to watch Tay Conti wrestle Red Velvet. Nope.
I think Conti's pretty good. Like, I think there's a lot of potential there, and they're trying to, get her more matches in there, trying to get her more exposure, more experience. I think that's a good thing.
Do you think that match was good? Was that match good? Was that match TV worthy?
It wasn't the best. It was far from the best, but I get what they're trying to do, though. They're trying to build her up into something, and they're trying to give her confidence, too, because I feel like because her match got cut like 2 weeks ago, they're trying to put her back in there and give her a spot. So just to show her that, she's important. I think she's someone who, I don't know, to me it seems like she doesn't have confidence in a lot of moves. Sometimes she hesitates, so I think they're trying to build her confidence up with that kind of match.
I don't know if that did it. Sean Spears beating Scorpio Sky. You know, why? What are they doing there?
Well, they've been building that up for a while, actually. So that was kind of like long-term storytelling in a sense, like finally having that end and finally having Sean Spears like move on in a sense. Like he's
Where
actually
have they
climbing
been
up
building
the rank.
that?
Again, you got to watch Dark. They had the AEW
So do the match
like
on
extra
Dark.
thing. Do the match on Dark. Well, they didn't. They gave it on Dynamite because I think they're trying to build Spears up for eventually facing Darby Allin.
Okay.
I know you're not interested in that, but it's happening though.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's just another thing I don't care about. That's fine. I've got Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley on December 2nd. That's something to care about. That's the match. Kenny's got to take the belt on December 2nd, right? Come on, baby.
Well, it's weird because like Archer cut a promo at the pay-per-view saying he's got the winner of Moxley and Kingston, but that just suddenly disappeared. I don't know what happened there. Like I thought it was Archer next, and then Kenny would be later. But for whatever reason, that's not happening. So I wonder what's actually going to happen December 2nd. Like, hopefully we get a clean finish. We usually do get clean finishes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Archer gets involved. I feel like no matter what happens December 2nd, we might more likely get Moxley Omega again at the pay-per-view.
Do you not think Kenny takes the title? Like, is he going to do it or what?
I think it can go one of two ways. Like, Kenny could win, but, the rematch, right, would be at the pay-per-view. Or Archer interferes, and then it becomes more of a three-way kind of feud.
Yeah, I don't need Archer in on that. Let's see Kenny take the belt, and then we move on with Kenny as champion. That's what I want to see. Move on. Kenny versus other people. Kenny versus Archer. But, after. I don't need to see Kenny and Moxley that much for that long. I'm good to keep moving.
Well, we've had Moxley as champion pretty much all of this year, right? So, I mean, why not start the Kenny title reign now? Why wait? Because I think Moxley, had a pretty decent reign. I think now would be a good time. But it's because it's weird. Like, why did Archer cut that promo? On the pay-per-view too, no less. It was just weird.
Archer's whole run has been strange.
It was good against Cody. I like the story against Cody. It's just after that he kind of dropped off.
I like the main event, Pentagon versus Rey Fenix. Very good match, but I don't know if it was better than the match they had a couple weeks ago.
Well, the match a couple weeks ago was more dramatic because you knew Phoenix was hurt in that match, and you were wondering I at least was wondering if he'd be able to finish the match. So to me, that made that match a little bit more interesting. This was cool because they were ripping their masks off, but I'm also like, aren't they actually like partners? Like they're making this seem like this is like a grudge match here. It just seemed off-putting a bit that these guys are like facing each other, and it's like they want to tear each other's heads off when really they get along though. So it's kind of really weird.
Yeah, it is a little
great match.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird. Thank you, Sebastien, for following us there. Yeah, it is a little bit weird how hard they went and how they wanted to rip each other's masks off. But I think it's just part of their gimmick. They're brothers. They love each other, but they also, they fight like brothers. It happens. Sometimes you go really hard and things happen. Things get out of control. But in the end, it was Pentagon getting the win over his younger brother, Rey Fenix. And then Eddie Kingston shows up. He was on commentary. And Pac arrived, and he wanted to fight Eddie Kingston. So Pac is back. Pac last week in England cutting a promo. We were wondering, well, is he ever going to show up in Florida? What's the story? And here he is, back in AEW, which I like.
It's great. Like, this was the big surprise, right? Because this was going to change kind of AEW, the course of wrestling or whatever, something that Tony Khan tweeted about. Like, for me, this is a huge thing because, like, I find, maybe not a lot of people find this, but I think Pac's one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. So I would love to see him wrestle again, one, and be a top star because, like, we've seen him in great matches, but he hasn't been at that top level yet, and he should be. So now this is like kind of the start of that, him going towards that level, I think.
Well, Pac will return on Dynamite this week to wrestle The Blade one-on-one. So The Blade, fresh off that great bunkhouse brawl, will wrestle Pac one-on-one. Should be a very good match on Dynamite this week. Look forward to seeing Pac back in action. Will Shaq wrestle Cody? Like, is that what's going to happen? Have you heard anything about Shaq wrestling? Was that a promo or is that real?
Well, I just heard that Shaq was at Full Gear, right? He was at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So they're clearly talking. And Shaq, didn't he have like his reality show on TNT?
I don't know.
So I'm sure TNT would love Shaq to be on wrestling on TNT. So there might be something with that. Yeah, like I could see it. Shaq wanted to wrestle, right? It just he didn't want to wrestle the Big Show. I think that was the problem. But him against Cody, that's a much easier match for Shaq.
I could see it happening. It would be pretty big, I think, for AEW to get a celebrity like Shaq to have a match. You know, they haven't had a celebrity match yet in AEW. I think Shaq would be pretty good. And finally, I want to talk about MJF. I want to play a little bit of MJF from this week because he was just great. He had me laughing, and I wonder if you got it. Did you get it?
I know he was saying Drake lines. But except for we started at the bottom and now we're at the top. Like that was the only line that I really caught. But
okay, let's hear a little. Let's hear a little MJF.
I made it work. Now there's a lot of pressure being a ratings ruler at just 24 years of age. Pressure that you 9-to-5ers could never handle. Let's be honest. But I'm glad I had that pressure because it created me into the diamond you see before you today. Now, I've taken the time to write out some poetry for all of you.
This is great.
You wrote
and
it.
I have a feeling that my homies in Proud and Powerful are going to dig it.
That's so horrible.
I got everything. I got everything. I cannot complain. I cannot. I don't even know how much I really made. I forgot. It's a lot. Never mind what I got, boy. Don't watch that because I came up. That's all me. Stay true. That's all me. No help.
That's all me.
That's all me. All me for real. Thank you.
I like the part where you rhyme got with got.
Commentary no-sells it because they didn't get it. I'm like listening to him and I'm like, got everything. Yeah. Wait a second. And I'm like cluing in. And then when he goes, all me, I was with him. I was like, all me for real. I was like, this is amazing. He's quoting all me. It's so funny. And Dave Chappelle quotes all me in one of his Netflix specials. I forget which one, but I wish I could find the clip of that too. At one point, Dave Chappelle, he's like, I'm like a Drake lyric, you know. Got everything. I got everything. I cannot complain. I cannot. I don't really know how much I really made. I forgot. It's a lot. Fuck that. Never mind what I got. Fantastic. Like, beautiful promo from MJF. And Jericho sitting there stone-faced like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't know the song. Johnny North is sitting at home. He doesn't get it. Commentary, JR, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, they don't get it. But a lot of us are at home laughing because we get it. We know what he's doing, and it's fucking funny. And then, of course, Ortiz got it too, and he wasn't happy.
I worked hard on that.
Really?
What?
Drake?
What?
For real?
What?
Chris, you have to see through this charade.
I wrote that.
He doesn't belong here. He shouldn't be in the inner circle, Chris.
You're right, Ortiz.
Whoa. Well, hold on. If you've got a problem, I know you don't want him in the inner circle. I know Sammy doesn't want him in the inner circle. But if there's an issue, it's on me. Okay? I made the challenge. I made the stipulation. He beat me to get into the inner circle. He beat Chris Jericho. Okay?
Thank you.
But I'll say this. Hold on. I've been doing this for 30 years. I know this business better than anything. Okay? And with this man's mind and this man's muscle, the inner circle is going to be stronger than ever. And we're already stronger than the walls of Jericho, baby.
Jericho did not get it. Ortiz is like, Jericho, I'm telling you, he stole this. He didn't write this. Jericho's like, huh? I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about. I thought that was great. A great promo from MJF. Just really funny. Had me laughing. Had me laughing big time. Quoting Drake. Saying I wrote a thing, and then he quotes all me. Oh, what I really love, though, is Jericho just, like, not cluing in, and commentary not cluing in at all. But then Ortiz just being like, what the hell are you doing? Shit was great.
Well, it's just great for the story, too, and how this is all progressing to eventually, it seems that I think the inner circle is going to be like, look, you either kick him out or we're going to kick you out kind of thing.
It really was brilliant because MJF, he's like playing to Jericho, right? Like his character in Inner Circle, he's just trying to get Jericho on his side because Jericho's the leader, and as long as Jericho likes him, he remains in the Inner Circle to do whatever he's trying to do in the Inner Circle, right? But and quoting Drake and saying that he wrote that poetry, Jericho doesn't get it. He thinks, oh, he wrote this poetry for me. This is great. But the younger guys in the Inner Circle, the Sammy Guevaras, the Ortiz and Santanas who don't want MJF in the Inner Circle, they get it, and they're like, wait a second, this guy's a total fraud. Like, it was a great way to kind of play up like babyface to Jericho, but heel to Ortiz, who really knows what he's doing, who sees through it, you know? It was fucking brilliant, is what it was. It was fucking brilliant. It's really, really good stuff. And a shout out to Derek John, who says Chelsea Green got injured in her debut match. That's why she did nothing in the match. So there you go, Johnny. That's mystery solved. She broke her wrist in the match, according to the WWE. So that's why Chelsea Green had such a terrible debut on SmackDown tonight. She broke her wrist during the match.
How? Like, what did she do to break her wrist? Like,
don't know. But it broke.
It's hard to break. Wow. That's crazy. It must have been.
I think she got bumped off the apron. She was on the apron. Okay. Liv Morgan, I think, drop kicked her off. And in the fall, she broke her wrist, I think.
I wonder now, was she supposed to win that match?
It would make sense. It was her debut.
Well, and again, the promo, like, why again hype someone like that? At least now it makes a little bit more sense. But that sucks to get hurt right away.
Sucks to get hurt in your debut. Really does. Very disappointing. Johnny North, that's it. That's it. It's late.
There's also next week on Dynamite, they're going to show they're going to have the NWA Women's Title rematch.
Yeah. Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. And the
huge.
AEW Tag Team titles will be on the line as well. The Young Buckaroos making their first defense against Top Flight? Who? Who?
These guys, it's Devon Dudley's sons.
Really? Both of them?
Both of them.
Devon's kids are wrestling the Bucks? Oh, that's cool. Okay. They've been on Dark, I think?
I believe they were on Dark this past week. I missed that match, but yeah, they were on.
Hey, did you see my favorite Impact wrestler, Very Miguel, signed to NXT? Trey Miguel? Or as I call him, Very Miguel?
I think all the Rascals signed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, the Rascals. Well, I'm not really sure who they are, but they signed to WWE. WWE also signed another guy. I forget his name. They're signing people.
I didn't see who else they signed, but that's good, you know?
Um,
Good for people getting booked.
Yeah, people are getting contracts now for WWE. I mean, they released a bunch of people, so now it's time to sign some indie talent. Who? I want to tell you who it is, but I don't know.
Well, I know they signed that guy who wrestled in AEW, but that was a while back.
I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's Alex Zane or something.
Yes, thank you. The Sauce, Alex Zane. There he is. Yeah, apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, Alex Zane is going to the WWE. So there you go. I don't know who he is. Do you?
I think he wrestled for GCW, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh.
He's a bit of a high flyer.
I'm seeing Sebastian on the chat. Says he loves the show, and also he says apparently Chelsea Green was supposed to win that match tonight, which would make a lot of sense. And it would make sense if they switched it around and gave it to Liv when they found out she was hurt. Although, why Liv?
No, Liv made actual sense because Ruby's on the team already, right?
Yeah. Are they still a team?
That made sense. Yeah.
Weird. And I saw Peyton Royce says she's not going to be teaming with anybody else, like she's done being a tag team. What happened there?
Well, that's weird because I thought the last time I saw her that her and Lacey did a promo for no particular reason, just bashing Lana. But that was the last I saw Peyton Royce doing anything. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's weird. On Raw, there's too many women that you don't know what's going on with all of them. They don't all get storylines.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce, I think, are not getting along anymore, so Peyton and Lacey are no longer a tag team. That did not last. And Peyton saying she was no longer going to team with anybody unless it's Billie Kay ever again. I think Peyton has said that. I don't know.
Well,
I don't care.
Good for her. Good luck with that.
Yeah. It happens.
I think Lacey's great, so it's better for Lacey, actually, in a sense.
I think it's like a storyline thing, her and Lacey not getting along. It's weird.
Well, I think Lacey going for
but
the,
I don't know. I didn't see a story. I think it happened on like Raw Talk or something. It didn't happen on Raw where they broke up. Twitter maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's enough. That's enough Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce talk. I don't think anyone gives a shit about their tag team. Johnny North, follow you on Twitter at North Genesis, Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. We'll do a Survivor Series post-show after Survivor Series next week. We're here every Friday night right after SmackDown. Every Friday after SmackDown for Wrestling Uncensored Live. And, of course, Ringside Report MMA every Thursday night, 8 p.m. here on the channel. Shout out to AJ. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to everybody, my brother, my dad, the whole family. We love you. RingsideReport.net as well. Go to our website. Check out everything we do over there. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. A big shout-out to Derek John for supporting the channel on the Super Chat. We appreciate you, Derek. We appreciate your dedication, watching the show, being involved in the show for so many years. We appreciate you, my man. Thank you for supporting on the Super Chat once again. We appreciate you all for watching and listening on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. We had a lot of Facebook action tonight, a lot of new Facebook followers, so thank you to everybody that hit that follow button on Facebook, everybody hitting that subscribe button on YouTube and on Twitch. We appreciate you as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for inviting us into your homes. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. That is the show. Bye-bye.